We are live. Welcome to the agenda session of the Bridgewater Township Council on Tuesday, July 10th. Notice for the meeting. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey, the adequate notice of this meeting was provided on December 10th, 2024 by sending written notice and electronic notice to the Courier News and the Breeze, posting on the website and the bulletin board in the municipal building, and filing with the township clerk. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Councilman Kirsch?
Here.
Councilman Cordiller?
Here.
Councilman Pedroso? Councilman Ring?
Good evening, here.
President Nogales?
Here. Would you please stand as Councilman Ring provides, and remain standing for a brief moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for the moment of silence to recognize the passing of those poor souls in Texas during the flood. Minutes for approval. The minutes for June 26th have been circulated. Has everybody had a chance to read them? And if so, may I have a motion on them, please?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it. All those in favor of approving the minutes of June 26th?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The minutes are approved. Closed sessions are circulating. Township Council reports. Mr. Pedroso is not here. We'll start with Councilman Kirsch, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Only a few brief items tonight. The Planning Board has not met since our last Township Council meeting. The Zoning Board met 2 nights ago, heard a single case. It is for self-storage at property that currently houses Tectonic, as well as connection to Melik's farm stand. There was a considerable objection heard from the public. My understanding is that the applicant has heard some of those concerns, and they will be coming back during October for a second hearing. In my final report, I had the privilege of attending and offering welcome comments at the Middlebrook Encampment Independence Day celebration. So I think, well, everyone on the dais knows, probably many in the audience know, that the Middlebrook Encampment is the location where it is believed that the first flag was raised. The first flag that is like the one that we have today was raised in the United States of America, occurring on Flag Day 1777. That flag, a depiction of which is in the back of the room, it is the Hopkinson flag design, does have 13 stars, but does not look like the Betsy Ross flag that most people associate with the American Revolution. It is a unique Bridgewater story. It is certainly a deep heritage and connection that we have to the Revolution. And as a consequence of that property being preserved, it is owned by the Washington Campground Association. There is a requirement that each July 4th that there be a gathering to commemorate what occurred on those grounds, and a reading of the Declaration of Independence, and that is what occurred on Friday morning, July. Or it was Friday? Yeah, Friday morning, July 4th. I want to, give particular accolade to Kevin Storms. He's a Bridgewater resident. He is the current president of the Washington Campground Association, and he and the board have taken their responsibility very seriously over these many years. And the ceremony was enjoyable and moving, because the flag that's there is retired each year. It's a little weather worn, and then it's replaced by a brand new one. So it was my privilege, as I noted, to offer brief welcome remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Pedroso, your report, sir, please.
Thank you, sir. Today's my son's birthday, so I had to, sorry for my delay. I actually had to bail out early in our dinner to come here, but life of a public servant. Glad to be here. Anyway, hope everyone had a very healthy and happy 4th of July. Thank you, Councilman Kirsch, for sharing your story of the Middlebrook encampment. I've actually had the privilege of being part of that ceremony a couple times and over the many years, and it's really very, very special. So thank you for reminding us again, really what a wonderful place that is here, right here in Bridgewater Township. America certainly is an extraordinary place. We're very blessed to live here in this wonderful country, and certainly July 4th gives us an opportunity to remember and reflect on that. So I hope everyone's enjoying their summer. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Ring, your report, sir.
Thank you, sir. As we move into the summer months, not a lot of additional activities going on, but I'll just share for the public's benefit, if they're not aware, the governor recently signed into legislation a new law that basically eliminates the requirement for public notices to be printed in newspapers. As newspaper media becomes less and less of a, I think this year or last year, the Star Ledger stopped printing, newspapers stopped printing. It's very difficult to comply with the old standards. So public notices are no longer required to be printed, and just for the public's benefit to be aware. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Cordella, please.
I'd like to say that a few days ago, I received a call from some residents that were concerned about issues related to a park. They had expressed concerns regarding safety in the park, the amount of litter in the park, and the perception of the lack of maintenance in the park. What I did is, regarding the safety concerns, I immediately reached out to Chief Mitzak to let him know what the residents of the area were witnessing, and I felt that the sooner our police department knew about it, the better off everybody will be. In addition to that, I spoke to Administrator Pappas regarding the maintenance and the other concerns about the park, and we're in the process of setting up what I believe would be a meeting with local residents on how to address their concerns, especially the concerns regarding the safety for their children in the neighborhood in the park area. That's all that I have right now, Howard. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. My report is as follows. I hope also, as has been said, everyone had a healthy and safe 4th of July. I attended the quarterly Bridgewater Emergency Service Committee, chaired by Police Lieutenant Jamie Edwards. The major issue was the update of the Bridgewater Emergency Operations Plan, which is an all-hazard plan to provide structure and mechanisms for township-level policy and operational coordination. 3 new operational New Jersey State Police annexes are being introduced: cyber incidents, civil unrest, and pandemics. Now, if you live, work, or plan to visit Northbridge between Volk and Firehouse, pack your patience. You will hear very shortly about the 8-week project that our friends at American Water are going to undertake to improve the facility along that site. The long-talked-about PSE&G road overlay for streets severely impacted by their gas main replacement is almost done, right, Tom? I went down Country Club. It was paved within the past week. It's striped. It looks great. Nobody should drive on it because it really looks that good. That is my report. Mayor's report, please.
Thank you. Mr. Norgalis. A couple of things on behalf of the mayor and the administration. I too want to acknowledge the efforts by the Campground Association for the July 4th event, but particularly our Public Works Department, which has for many years helped prepare the site and neaten up the appearance of it. That's something that we've done as a tradition, and I think most people are not aware that that's something that we carry out as a public service. A couple of things on the agenda I'd like to just point out, that you'll hear about the yard waste site from Mr. Genova, but there's another resolution, 12B, which is our longstanding digitization program. We, like many municipalities throughout the state, are undertaking a plan to improve efficiency. There are standards by which we have to maintain certain records in perpetuity, and digitization is a much more efficient way to maintain those. This particular company is one that I had opportunity to work with even before coming to work for Bridgewater Township, and they are a very, very competent vendor that carries out this service very, very efficiently. There are a couple of change orders from road program closeouts. One is a significant decrease. You'll see in 12C a $124,072.36 decrease as a closeout, which is over 12% decrease from the original contract. And the one following that is an increase of 0.97%, $12,000, and from a $1.3 million road project. I think that's all for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Under item 7, proclamations, we have none to offer at this point. We're up to item 8, which is presentation, and we'll start with the yard waste site. Mr. Genova.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm here to report on the yard waste site. As you know, there's an item 12A on the council agenda to award the same. So, a little overview, okay, as far as the yard waste transfer facility goes. The township does own a yard waste transfer facility located at 136 Foothill Road. The property is approximately 3.5 acres. Township residents and the Division of Public Works utilizes this site as a drop-off yard waste that includes grass, brush, tree parts, and leaves. So you'll see some pictures, and actually as we, today, we have senior brush pickup. Of course, you're all familiar with the leaf bag pickup as well. The total estimated amount of yard waste collected annually is 50,000 cubic yards of leaves, 60,000 cubic yards of commingled yard waste, which includes, again, trees, branches, and brush, and 10,000 cubic yards of grass. The resident drop-off policy. Residents are allowed to drop off materials in their personal vehicles. A resident using a contractor to clean up their property must obtain a permit from the Division of Public Works for one 6 cubic yard vehicle twice a year at no charge. The township yard waste facility is an exempt from obtaining a solid waste permit from the New Jersey DEP. So what we have on your agenda tonight is consideration of a management and maintenance agreement. The township currently has an agreement with a qualified contractor to perform the management, operation, and maintenance of the yard waste facility. Responsibilities include the staff maintaining a daily presence at the facility in accordance with the recycling schedule published by the township. There is no additional payment from the township for utilizing the facility for drop-off, and this includes natural emergencies. This office recommends the award of contract to Nature's Choice LLC in the amount of $29,000 payable to the township for the term of September 1, 2025 to August 31st, 2026, with a renewal option following. If you you have any questions,
Questions?
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's important to point out here, the $29,000 is them paying us.
That's
That
what
is,
I said. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's money. This is the flip side. We used to pay to have this. done.
Correct.
Now people are paying us to do it.
yeah.
That's a nice thing. We ought to
Yeah.
find some other things.
It's, well, yeah, I think it's worth that extra emphasis, so. I think we paid, what, 25,000 the last 4 years?
For the last 4 years, we paid $24,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, what's worth pointing out is we're really one of the only municipalities that have a site like this. Again, it's a transfers facility because it's only 3.5 acres.
Yep.
Other towns, what they do is they get containers that are dropped off and then carted away. So this is really a great benefit to both the residents in Bridgewater and, again, to Public Works to have a site like this.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. We now have New Jersey American Water representatives who are going to talk to us about the pipe replacement.
Mr. President, as their gentlemen are coming forward, we had a meeting with them, our municipal services, engineering, public works, police department, rather extensive discussion leading up to yesterday. And yesterday, as you pointed out, there's a significant project that they're going to be undertaking shortly, and they will describe the scope of the project and be available for your questions.
Yes, sir.
If you could introduce
Gentlemen,
yourselves,
welcome.
gents.
How are you? Everybody can hear me?
Please give us your name and the position you hold in American Water, please.
My name is Christopher Lynch. I'm the construction supervisor out of our Hillsborough office for this area.
And I'm Frank Price, Senior Construction Inspector out of the same office.
So this project we are undertaking, as many of you may know, over the last 10 or so years, we've had a lot of water main breaks on North Bridge Street. The pipe originally was installed in the 1970s. Which doesn't sound that old until you think about it. It's like, yeah, that's pushing 60 years old already. Because of our booster station that we have down below Prince Rogers Drive, especially this time of year in the summer months, the booster stations kick on to pump water up the mountains to meet the demand. And as we've seen over the last several years, that pipe just can't handle the pressure surges anymore from that. So we decided to undertake replacing the entire thing from Prince Rogers all the way up to Foothill, which is where the majority of our breaks have been. I know Bridgewater didn't have the greatest experience with PSE&G, from what I've heard. First and foremost, before we get into the logistics of the project, you know, we're undertaking this to better the water system for everybody, and it is our intent to not make this chaotic and, you know, have it as orderly and efficient as it can be while we're working. So we will be replacing 4,300 feet of 12-inch ductile iron main from Prince Rogers, Vogue Drive, all the way up to Foothill Drive. That will include new fire hydrants all along, replacing the existing fire hydrants, new 1-inch water services to each home, and final paving. The entire road will be paved curb to curb when we're complete. We did meet the other day to discuss, and it was a lengthy discussion because of the traffic situation. While it's a county road, it does affect, obviously, Bridgewater. So, we scheduled this for the summer to hopefully avoid, you know, the school bus traffic and school traffic. That takes one thing out of the equation. But I think we've landed on a good detour plan to keep in place while the work is taking place. County road hours will be, we can't start working until 9 a.m. every morning. It'll be Monday to Friday, starting at 9, and we have to be off the road by 4 per the county. So the detour will be in place during those hours. After hours and weekends, the road will be open for normal traffic flow. CRJ Contracting, who is one of our best contractors, they're going to be doing the work. Derek Clark and Tom Vanderzee are over there. Derek is the project manager. Tom will be the foreman of the job, and Frank here will be the inspector on the job every day. We've handed out notices to all the residents in the area. We also do a code red call, which is like a reverse 911 call to explain the project via phone message to all the residents in the area as well. Any questions at this point so far? Or?
Both the Green Knoll Squad and the Green Knoll Firehouse are right down the block. Will the road still be closed to them as emergency vehicles? Will they still have to take the detour?
I believe that was a yes, right, from that? That we decided on, yeah.
Okay, okay. Any questions?
I have several. So, understanding emergency vehicles have to take the detour. What happens when there's an emergency call for service at a house along the closed road?
So while we are working, we will have police at every intersection, you know, for the closure. They will help us let in local traffic to the best of our ability and emergency traffic as well. If there's, like you said, God forbid, a fire or EMS situation, they'll have access to our work site.
You mentioned you've delivered notices to the area.
Did you get one?
I did not. I live directly off North Bridge Street. I have not received a notice. The only notification until tonight that I've been aware of this project is the sign that said you were starting construction yesterday on North Bridge Street.
So I myself yesterday had handed out the notices to everyone affected in that zone where the actual construction is going to take place on North Bridge. In regards to the side streets, today we actually put out, it should have gone out today, the code red that basically gives all the information that's taking place on North Bridge. But
How do you put that out?
that's going to go out through basically our system contacts any.
So you have streets off of North Bridge Street. My house is a well. You don't have my information. How do I receive notification?
So that would be the only other caveat. But tomorrow, Friday, we'll be out on the streets where we're going to be starting, because it's going to be obviously in
phase, understood.
Right. So where we start, for that exact reason, we don't have any real capability minus the old-fashioned knock on the door, leave an actual, letter indicating what's taking place. So to your point, that is ultimately going to take place tomorrow.
Okay. Because you have a number of dead-end cul-de-sac streets off of North
yes.
Bridge.
Yep.
With only one way in and out.
Yep.
And it's a weird one. I live on a street, there's a hydrant on my corner of North Bridge, and I go 3 or 4 houses past my house, and there's a hydrant, but the whole middle section of the street is all wells.
And to your point, when you were asking about, God forbid there was an emergency situation, the crews are obviously aware that when we do traverse that intersection, wherever it may be, we do have road plates that will be there when we're in that sensitive area of construction. God forbid, again, there is an ambulance that needs to get in and out or so on and so forth. So again, our goal is not to make it harder or any more struggles, but so we have that in place as well as a backup.
So, and I apologize, but you had mentioned the PSE&G, some of the challenges. PSE&G we just completed, we're going to award contract tonight for repaving some of the streets that were impacted by PSE&G, finalize the payment for the contract for streets PSE&G did. So people in this area are sensitive.
Right.
Understood.
And that's why we also decided the detour plan that we decided was, because what I've heard was PSE&G was kind of jumping around to different streets, having different streets closed different days. This detour plan that we have will be in place from the beginning of the project to the end, just so we're not, we had talked about, maybe we can keep one half open and keep the other half open and vice versa, but it's going to be, I think, more beneficial long run to the residents once they know the detour and that stays in place for the duration of the project instead of trying to bounce around.
Consistency would probably be a good thing.
Yes.
Is your plan to replace the main pipe and then go back and do the connections, or will you do connections as you go?
So what we do is we will lay the main first. We fill the pipe, we flush and sample the pipe. We have to bring water samples to our lab at our treatment plant to get analyzed. Once they have passed, then we can come back and start transferring the services for each house over to the new main. So each house will get a new service from the water main to the curb. The other thing as part of this project too, if there are any galvanized or lead service lines, running to people's houses, which we don't anticipate here, just because we know the area pretty well. If we do find any galvanized services, we will replace that service all the way into the house of the homeowner at no charge.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm almost done. We talked about emergency vehicles. I guess the other question is, how about when you're working in the area of Foothill Road on North Bridge, access to the firehouse and rescue squad? I understand the vehicles have to take the detours, but
You mean as far as vehicles coming out of the firehouse?
there's going to be a time period where you're digging up in front of those
Right.
buildings.
What we will do is we'll strategically coordinate it so that we're not blocking the entire length of the firehouse apron at once, so we might go halfway, finish up for the day, then start the next day halfway, so at least, half of their access remains open to get
And
fire
again,
trucks
it's
in and
in
out.
segments, so that may only be, a hindrance or we may only be in that area for, a day or so, and then we're moving down the street.
Yeah,
That's
understood.
backfilled,
Yep.
Of course, but yes, for that duration, then, yeah.
And I promise my last question. No impact, it sounds like, on the people that are on your water service as far as drinking water, and then what impact, if any, on the hydrants while you're
So-
working?
No impact on the hydrants, because what we do is we leave the existing main live until we're ready to transfer everything over. So for a while, we're installing the hydrants as we go, but once the new main is serviced, you'll actually have the new main and the old main, and the new hydrants and the old hydrants actually still in service together for a brief period. And then we will cut and cap and kill the old main. So there's never going to be a lapse in fire protection. There won't be any lapse in water service for anyone. The only time there will be is when we start doing the transfers of the services over, at which time Frankie will give notice to the residents ahead of time that,
Actually, if I could jump in. So as far as everything side street concerns, for the tie-in purposes, I think it's Jan I think there's only 6 houses on that road. That particular street is the only one where there's going to be a mild, maybe an hour or two transfer, when we do transfer to loss of water. But again, at that point, before it even gets turned off, I myself will go and knock on doors, make sure that, it's okay to do so. Other than that, we have it in place for the other streets, Hoagland, Drysdale, whatever the other numerous ones are, to where the way we're going to do it, there won't be a disruption in water when we do transfer it over by the way we're doing it. And then to Chris's point, when the actual service transfer takes place, the crews do this all the time, not even as a courtesy. They go to the door, knock on the door, make sure that no one's using water, or even myself, just so, for obvious reasons, the water doesn't get turned off when they need it.
Just so you're aware, you mentioned Yorn. Mr. Pedroso lives on Yorn, sitting down there, so you'll be
Take good
one of
care of
his.
you, don't worry
You'll
about
be
it.
knocking on his door.
You're lucky
You mentioned,
today. 2 of the 5 of us sitting up here are in the neighborhood of
you
this project.
mentioned 12-inch ductile that you're replacing. Was the old, you've been using ductile for generations. Was
Since
the old
the
one
70s,
ductal
since
also?
the late
or was it
60s or
something
so.
else?
Believe it or not, the existing pipe is already 12-inch ductile iron pipe, but it's a very cheap class of ductile. So what we're installing is a lot thicker
Okay.
version of this ductile
Now,
iron.
is that pipe unique to this specific sections? Are there other parts of town where you suspect the same pipe will need to be replaced?
Eventually, probably Foothill Road it's the same 12-inch ductile iron, but Foothill we haven't had as many problems with, just because Bridge, as I mentioned before, that booster station we have, Bridge Street,
Where exactly is the booster station?
down between south of Vogt and Prince Rogers, Prince Rogers,
Prince
right?
Rogers,
and 287 down there. It sits in that stretch
Yeah, it's
down
south
there.
of the post office and going towards 287.
Very-
But Bridge Street takes the
Any other questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When this work is going to be on North Bridge, it starts at Vogt Drive? Is Vogt Drive where the main line goes to the Bridgewater Commons? Or is it cut before that?
So it's going to be essentially where we do our tie-in to start the project. It's going to be about 100 to 200 feet north of Prince Rogers and Vogt, so we will not be in that intersection. We'll be just north of that, not interfering with anything going towards the mall.
Yeah, so Vogue then Prince Rogers will be 100% open the whole time.
So this will have zero impact on the mall.
Correct.
Correct.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a
Philippe.
question. Thank you, sir. Where can I and residents find your detour plan?
I believe it was supposed to go on Bridgewater's website.
Mr. Pedrosa, we have that, and we will provide that copy to you, and it'll be
Yeah.
on their website.
By the way, when do you start digging?
This
Yesterday.
Monday is
Monday.
when we're going to begin.
Are you guys going to update the sign that says yesterday? Okay.
Might be local pranksters.
Okay.
So that detour information will be available on the township website? Where on the township website? How do I find it? And when can we expect that? Okay. I ask because Rowan is here from the Breeze, and obviously he can be helpful. One of the benefits of having the news here is that they can be helpful in getting information out to the public. I think it's important for him to know that more than me, frankly, for him to know how to provide that info so the public has access to that detour plan. Do you anticipate any changes at all to the detour plan as you work, or is it pretty fixed?
No, we met for probably a good 2 hours yesterday and ironed out everything with the police and the township and came up with something that we're going to stick to.
Okay. If there are any changes, I would certainly encourage you to provide those as quickly as possible to the
Yes.
administration. So
The only spur of the moment change we possibly would anticipate, as we discussed yesterday, would be if the old main started leaking while we're doing this at any point, then it would kind of become an emergency situation where we had to do what we have to do to fix it. But other than that, we're sticking to this detour plan.
Great. And I noticed as this conversation, I appreciate Councilman Ring's questions on the issues of the fire department and the rescue squad, the issues of safety. Is there any way that the fire department can have access to the road so they don't have to detour around? Is there any way that construction can be done so that rescue services are not delaying getting to people's homes should they need it?
With the help of the police, I think that would be mostly possible, depending on whether we're working north of Woodlawn or south of Woodlawn. So for instance, if we're working in the section south of Woodlawn, and a fire call comes in for somewhere west down Woodlawn, with the help of the police, they could probably come down Bridge to Woodlawn and go that way. So it's going to depend on where we're working exactly, but with the police's help, we should be able to try to accommodate them, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And actually, when we looked at the layout for where the new water main is ultimately going to go, during the construction, as it gets a little north of Woodlawn, it gets tight. There's a guardrail there, and there's really not much of a shoulder, but we're still going to probably hope to just utilize one lane. So if, again, God forbid that the fire truck needed to get through, the road wouldn't have a giant trench across, and they physically, with the help of the officers, could get emergency vehicles in and out in a, God forbid, bad situation. So
Right. I think that's very, very important
absolutely.
that you guys do something to keep access for fire and rescue services and the police so that if someone needs it. I mean, I know you say, well, it's only going to be closed for a day, but if someone needs it that day, they need it, right? So it's
Can't play
important.
around with that. So
Okay. Well, those are, also, just to know, I live right down the street from where you guys were working today. In fact, I was coming out of my house today, and I looked to the right. I intended to make a right. I looked down the street. I see a bunch of guys out there. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going that way. I made the left. But I did not receive any notices that you were going to be working on that street.
yeah, unfortunately, this kind of came together a little quicker than we thought. And when we had the meeting yesterday, it had been brought up that yes, the area of construction is solely on North Bridge Street. However, to Councilman Ring's point, there virtually, I think, all the streets minus maybe White or one or two are dead ends. So that's the only in and out, of course. So it was suggested and made basically the decision that everyone needs to be notified, even though we're not physically digging up their service or their street, like Hoagland Court, all those that are in that affected area. So we call it a code red, a reverse 911, that goes to our call center, and that goes out to everyone that is a customer of ours that we have the information for. However, the individuals, the residents that are on a well, we don't have that luxury. So that's the old-fashioned way of tomorrow, myself and one or two other of my counterparts will be getting all that information dispatched. And I know it's Monday, it's quick, but where we're starting gives us a little time because we're ultimately Monday going to start down by Vogt and Prince Roger. So the affected areas, as far as the side streets are concerned, gives us a little time for information to be dispatched. So
The other thing we planned on doing too as well for all the dead-end side streets, depending what half that we're working in, at the end of the street, when you come out to Bridge Street, there'll be signage there saying, left turn only or right turn, and we'll, alternate those depending on where we're working. So people coming out of those dead-end side streets
Councilman Ring.
know where to go.
Yeah,
I'm almost done. I have last comment. I understand. I can certainly appreciate the fact that you have to get this done. Residents can also understand and sympathize. It has to get done, right? We can all get that. But the one thing in today's world that needs to happen is information. Like, you guys have to get accurate information that has to be disseminated to the public. That there's no reason in today's world that we can't get things out to people quickly. And people expect that, and I think it's a reasonable expectation. So that's the one thing I'm going to push to you. Make sure you get that done. Thank you.
to your point, also wasn't mentioned yet, but we did come up with the idea of essentially a progress report, so to speak. So my task as the inspector, as the job continues, for instance, the Friday prior to the following week, I myself will discuss, get with the foreman and kind of just get an itinerary for the next 5 days coming up. So this way I can send the information to whomever is going to be able to take that for Bridgewater and also put that on the website. So I know it's not 100% a perfect guarantee that everyone reads that.
Your point of contact for information should be Mr. Pappas, and he will arrange to disseminate it within the township in whatever fashion is necessary.
Perfect.
Have you guys checked the temple's schedule?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's talking to them tomorrow as well.
That was it. I wanted to
Okay.
make sure they're not digging up in front of the temple when they have some kind of service going on.
We discussed that yesterday as well. If we know that their schedule is that they have a big ceremony on Thursday, let's say, we'll make sure we're not working directly in front of their place on Thursday.
That's it.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Very detailed, very informative, and we appreciate.
One last thing is the end result is, you'll have a brand new water main on North Bridge. The road will be paved curb to curb, and hopefully you won't have to see us for 40 years on Bridge Street after that, which at that point I'll be
Yours lips to
retired.
God's ears. Thank you.
Thank you,
All
everyone.
right, moving to item number 9, meeting open to the public. Members of the public wishing to address the council on any matter will be allowed 3 minutes to speak unless there are unusual circumstances. Could I have a motion open for the public, please?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor of opening?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone wishing to come forward? Now, would you like to close?
Seeing nobody? Sure, I will
Yeah.
move to close public comment.
Could I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
And all those in favor of closing?
Aye.
It has been several months since I was not able to attend a meeting, and I watched it on the tape. And Councilman Pedroso moderated that, and that was the only night during the entire year that there was nobody came forward. And I thought it was personal that, but anyway. So, anyway, we are closed to the public, and we are moving on to 10A, public hearing and final action notice ordinance. Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $6,100,000 for various road improvements, including but not limited to Monroe Street, Jackson Street, Villa Drive, Cabot Hill Road, Sunset Drive, Miners Drive, Ridge Road, Middle Road, Bulmer, Farm Road, and Blazer Road, including curbing, milling, paving, drainage, sewer, and other miscellaneous improvements, various road overlays and sidewalk improvements throughout the township. Now, so there's two parts to this. Improvements throughout the township, in and by the township of Bridgewater, in the county of Somerset, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $5,795,000 in bonds or notes of the township for financing part of the appropriation. Mr. Pappas, any comments you'd like to offer before I move for a motion?
None, unless you have questions. I have nothing else to add.
Okay, but I have a motion for this.
I'll make that motion.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Okay, now is there any discussion on 10A, which is the public hearing and bond notice?
We need a public hearing.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to,
Oh,
Are we doing the public hearing first, or are we doing
Okay.
comments after?
then I'll accept the motion to open to the public.
I'm open to the public.
Okay,
second.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Open. All right, we're open to public. Anyone from the public wishing to come forward?
See no one, I move to close public.
Okay. And do you wish to move for final action?
I'll make that
I think
motion.
there's some discussion.
Yeah, I know, but procedurally, okay. And, all right, so we'll move to discussion. Dosho.
I'll be very, very brief, consistent with my prior comments in doing the introduction part of this ordinance. I will vote no.
Okay, sir, thank you. Any other comments on 10A? Now, motion for final action, vote, please. Did we get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so,
I'm confused. Was
All
our
right.
motion the motion was to close public comment, right?
right, we've closed the public comment, now we're moving for final action.
Okay. Who made the motion to approve?
Didn't you?
No, I did not.
Okay, would you like to make it?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Cordella, I appreciate it. I will second it. All those,
Roll call.
roll call.
Councilman Kirsch,
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla,
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso,
No.
Councilman Ring,
Yes.
President Nogales.
Yes. Introduction of ordinances, there are none for 11. Moving to resolutions, 12A, award of contract to Nature's Choice, New Jersey, LLC of 960 Homedale Road, building number 2, suite number 201, Homedale, New Jersey, 07733, for the management, operation, and maintenance of the Township of Bridgewater's yardway site at no cost to the township, commencing on September 1st, 2025, and terminating on August 31st, 2026. We've already heard the presentation. Could I have a motion, please, on 12A?
I'll make the motion.
I'll
A
second it.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Just want to note and comment, thank Mr. Genova. Did he leave? Oh, there you are. Thank you for your thorough presentation. It was very useful. Thank you for that. I like the no cost to the township part, too.
I like it, not only doesn't cost us, we get paid.
Councilman
Over to you,
Kirsch,
Grace.
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla,
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso,
Yes.
Councilman Ring,
Yes.
President Nogales.
Yes. 12B, award of contract to Flovonics Imaging Technologies Incorporated of 99 Gray Rock Road, number 103, Clinton, New Jersey, 08809, for Document Solutions under Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, ESCNJ, Cooperative Pricing, ESCCNJ-22/23-11, in the amount of $100,000 to be funded through the Records Retention Fund. Mr. Pappas, any comments you'd like to offer on this?
Mr. President, before we move, I need to recuse myself from this.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Just that this is managed by our township clerk and her staff. They are doing an excellent job.
Nice. Would you
And
like to offer?
last year, you may recall, we had another contract. Last year, we focused exclusively on sewer utility documents. That, for at least last year, was concluded. Now we're back to the rest of the municipal government. Thank you.
Does this go out to bid?
This is state contract, so it does not.
Is there any words of encouragement you'd like to offer on this project, Grace, since you manage it?
Just that by approving this, we'll be able to continue records management We have been doing such an excellent job. We have archived a lot of documents. We have imaged a lot of documents, so this will allow us to continue to do that.
Now, do they actually come in and take the documents and do it?
Yes, they come in, they take the documents. Right now, we have about 200 boxes that are ready to go to for imaging, and then once they're imaged, they are destroyed, so we don't have to keep them here.
Grace, would you tell the council just a moment about the shredding and how successful that is as well?
Yes, so we have really improved our records management in this, the last couple of months. We had a shred event. I think we shredded about close to 300 boxes. So we are really on a schedule for every department. We are on a schedule where we have set documents to. They come in, we have a schedule. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared to talk. We have a schedule.
It's okay. No, you're doing fine.
We have a schedule of documents that we can shred. And in the past couple of months, we shredded about 300 boxes. And then we have more coming up in the fall, about the same amount, so that we keep, as soon as documents are ready to be shredded, we destroy them. And if they need to be imaged, we send them to Fovionics. We have a schedule laid out for that.
Does the shredding truck come here?
Yes, the shredding truck comes here, and it's also paid off of a grant, so it doesn't cost the township anything.
Excellent, excellent. Great project, thank you. Could I have a
I have a
motion
question.
on-
It's a question for maybe Mr. Pappas.
Question?
Yeah. The documents, are they stored in-house, in servers in-house? Are they stored in the cloud? Like, where are they stored, do you know?
Grace?
Yes, they are stored on the iCloud.
On the iCloud, or iCloud or cloud? Because cloud
Cloud, I'm
service.
sorry, on the cloud, and then we have, every department has assigned certain people that can access the documents once they are imaged. I mean, if you're looking for documents to see what was imaged, every department has people that have access to it.
I'm not sure if you know the answer to this question today, but if you don't, then you can just provide it to me later. Do you know how the data is backed up?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, I'd like to know that because it's easy for data to disappear in today's world.
We do, every year, I think twice a year, they do give us a CD of everything, and we keep it in my office. So I don't know if that's backup.
But that's one form of backup.
Yeah, so we have it on the cloud, but every 6 months, we ask for a CD to be just for backup, so we can have it just in case of anything.
Surprised it all fits in one DVD.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can give me some
Not a CD,
information
like
how
a
it's
flash
backed up, I think that's super important because once the data is digitized and then we shred it, the paper version is gone.
Right.
And so we need to rely 100% on the digital version, and those documents are super important for the government, also for the public. So I think just would like, make sure it's being properly safeguarded.
I remember when we met, I'm sorry, Grace, go ahead.
And just so you know, there are some documents, even after we image them, we cannot destroy them. For example, ordinances and resolutions and minutes. So those are super, they have to be kept forever. So even after we image those, we cannot destroy them.
Right.
But like planning boxes,
Right.
site plans, we are able to destroy them after we image them.
Yeah. Documents need to be accessible for the public if they make Oprah requests, and I think we have an obligation to make sure they're safeguarded properly. And it's just really important that the digital data is backed up and that we can do the best we can to preserve the integrity of that data going forward.
There was, we meet with Fovionics at least once or twice a year. Grace does more frequently, but I participate in others. And I do remember a gentleman, Vincent DiTomaso, had gone through a very extensive description of how there is redundancy to ensure that our records are maintained. One other comment, the efficiency that this program creates is pretty incredible. When members of the public ask for records, whether it's through an Oprah request or through some other request, in the old days, they would have to literally find where the box is and go there. And now this is quick. And so the appropriate information can be redacted with the press of a button, and so it's a tremendous time saver.
Let me ask you a question. I know that we're scanning a lot of documents from the past. Going forward into the future, are the departments going to have their own scanners? And they'll scan their own documents? Are we still going to rely on third-party services?
I think right now we're going to rely upon the third party. One of the things that we're probably will be coming back to the council with regard to land use board applications, there will be an ordinance that will likely be presented that would require applicants that go through the land use board process, and for those that get approved, that a certain categorization of digitization is provided to the township that would not require us to have it scanned at our expense.
Right. That's actually very.
We're going to try to do that as much as possible.
And also,
Can I have
just
mo-
want to add that Fovionics allows, if you have documents that you would like to scan into the program yourself, we're able to do that as well. So in answer to your question, we are able to do that. My office does that. We're able to scan some of the things that are easier, like not the site plans are harder to scan in, but like ordinances and minutes, we can scan them into, and and still store them in the same area. So what we can scan, we do.
Thank you.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordella? I'm sorry, Councilman Pedroso?
Yes.
We got to get Alan back. All right, go ahead.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes, okay. We'll wait for Alan to get back. Okay, moving on to C, authorizing change order number 1 and final change order, decreasing the contract price from $1,014,857.97 to $890,785.61, a decline of 12.23% or $124,072.36, authorizing acceptance of the project, release of the performance bond, acceptance of the maintenance bond, and final payment to Top Line Construction Corporation, 22 5th Street, Somerville, New Jersey, 08876, for the 2023-6 roadway improvement project, which includes the entire lengths of April Drive, Eastbrook Drive, Mayflower Court, Loft Drive, and Weemac Road, funded through the 2023 Capital Road Fund. Mr. Pappas, you've already reported on the nice job this one represents. Is there any other questions anyone has on this?
Do you want to read D and we'll do them consent?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do D, authorizing change order number 1 and final change order, increasing the contract price from $1,300,932.79 to $1,313,509.14, an increase of $12,576.35, or 0.97%, and authorizing project acceptance, release of the performance bond, acceptance of the maintenance bond, and final payment to Top Line Construction, 22 5th Street, Somerville, New Jersey, 08876, for the 2024-5 roadway improvement projects, including the entire lengths of Lawton Road, Lawton Place, Birch Hill Drive, Bittersweet Terrace, Somerset Avenue, Mountaintop Road from Crim to Rose, and the parking lot at the Bridgewater Senior Center, funded through the 2024 Capital Road Fund. Might as well do E, project resolution for professional service surveying Phase 1 for the Plymouth Road, Ryan Way, and Jeffrey Lane Road improvement projects, which includes the lengths of Plymouth Road, Washington Valley Road to Crim Road, Ryan Way, Plymouth Road to Plymouth Road. Wow, okay, we got to fix that one. And Jeffrey Lane, Plymouth Road to Crim Road, to Collier's Engineering and Design Incorporated, Shelbourne at 153 Frontage Road, Suite 110, Hampton, New Jersey 08827, in the amount of $16,000 funded through 2024 Capital Road Improvement Bond and for year 2024 NJDOT Municipal Aid Grant. Okay, can I have any questions or comments on those items? If not, may I have a motion, please, to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And a second, please? I'll second it. Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordiller?
Yes.
Councilman Pedrosa?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Item F has been removed by the administration, moved to closed session. G is resolution authorizing the person-to-person and place-to-place transfer of plenary retail distribution liquor license number 1806-44-041-002 from Ramaram Incorporated, located at 477C Union Avenue, Bridgewater, New Jersey 08807, to ARP, not sure how to pronounce that, LLC, to be located at 601 East Main Street, Bridgewater, New Jersey, 08807. Could I have a motion, please, on that one?
I'll make that motion.
And a second, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman
G.
Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordiller?
Yes.
Councilman Pedrosa?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. H, authorizing a fireworks display at Raritan Valley Country Club located at 747 State Route 28, Bridgewater, New Jersey, on Sunday, July 6, 2025, with a rain date of Sunday, July 13th, 2025. Since July 6th has already passed, in effect, this is a retroactive. I understand that the delay in getting it to us was they didn't send it in time. It is for that reason, I advise in advance, I will be voting no on this. I think if people can't have the courtesy of getting their stuff in on time, we shouldn't approve it. But anyway,
Question, Mr. President. What's the consequence of our not approving it?
there is none. It's already taken place. Putting a stake in the ground that from...
Well, I think there is a consequence, because if we turn it down, do we have to refund their check they wrote? Yeah. So, I mean,
Anyway.
its question is, do we want to go down that road?
Well, I can assure the members of the dais and the public, the display definitely occurred.
I know it occurred.
Scared the heck out of my dog. Tough weekend for dogs is all I'll say.
Okay. I-
Is there any habit of this particular applicant having this problem, or is this a one-off?
I don't believe this has been late before. Not since I've been here.
Motion for H, please.
I'll make a motion to move it.
Second?
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordiller?
Yes.
Councilman Pedrosa?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
No. I is resolution endorsing housing element and fair share plan. We should be very proud of this, folks. A lot of work went into it. Mr. Pappas, would you like to offer some comments, please?
This resolution is a companion to a resolution that the planning board adopted, I think it was on June the 25th. The new legislation requires that the municipal planning board adopt such a resolution approving the housing plan by June the 30th. They did so. And the legislation also requires the governing body to concur within a different timeline, but it was suggested by Mr. Fisher that the council consider this at the next subsequent council meeting. There is no differentiation between anything that the planning board has been presented, that the council has been briefed on before, and it's before the council for your consideration.
Do we have a copy of what the planning board endorsed?
Yes, there are copies. I've been under the impression they were distributed to the council, and but this is the document.
Oh, that I've seen that.
Okay, well, should have gotten it, but we will make sure you do. You want-
Okay, you've heard the comments. Could I have a motion,
Well,
please?
I mean, I'll make the motion, but I would like brief discussion as well.
Okay, motion and a second, and then we'll have discussion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, discussion, go ahead.
So I'll be brief because I've spoken on this topic many times, including at the planning board. I find the fact that we are discussing this to be candidly disgraceful. We live in a state that has allegedly has a history of home rule, meaning self-determination. The various municipalities are supposed to have a positive say in what they want their communities to look like in the future. The Fair Share Plan absolutely is in opposition to that. These various court mandates, we're being told by Trenton what to do with a sword hanging over our neck that if we don't do it, the consequences could be dramatically worse. Bridgewater has a very proud history of being a very socioeconomically diverse community. We have housing stock all up and down the spectrum. We welcome people who have more modest means. We welcome people who have greater means. I just find that this whole mandate to be highly distasteful. With that said, the work that was done was outstanding. I think this is the best solution to a very bad situation that has been thrust upon us and the other 500 and something municipalities. Among the areas that concern me is the burden on municipal services that may occur, including but not limited to education, fire service. I know I've been an outspoken advocate for the concerns with the sewer utility. And my summary thought here is that there are places that have sewer capacity, they have classrooms, they have fire capacity, they have grocery stores that people can walk to without needing one or more automobiles, and they're called cities. And I guess the idea that the state of New Jersey, Trenton, the current administration, the governor, and the state legislature are essentially telling us what to do, again, with this sword hanging over our neck, is highly distasteful. So I supported this at planning board. I'll support it again tonight. I moved it because, candidly, we have no choice. But I think it's a rather sad day. It's a rather sad commentary about what this state has become. We are not the garden state. We are the mandate state. And this is just yet another example of that, and arguably the most egregious one, because this will change the face of Bridgewater and every other municipality in very dramatic ways. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Pedrosa?
No.
Councilman Rain?
Yes.
Councilman Nogales?
Yes. Okay, we're moving to item 13, which is closed session. Be it resolved by the Bridgewater Township Council, this body will now convene in closed session to discuss contract negotiations relating to open space and engagement of legal counsel. When and if the matters discussed become public record, this will be made known to the public at that time. The public is excluded from this meeting, and further notice thereof is dispensed, all in accordance with Sections 8 and 4A of the Open Public Meetings Act. And I do not anticipate any action on this body at the conclusion of the closed session. We will simply adjourn. Could I have a motion to go to closed session, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are in closed session as soon as we get the door shut.
But how does it sell for 34 million and we assess it 15? Yet homes are on market value. Are we saying it's lost $20 million of value in the last 4 years?
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have closed session. The next piece of business is adjournment. Could I have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How are you, Michael?
All right, how are you?
You seem like you're a little bummed today, all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You okay?
Yeah, everyone's